Uh, Hi again. This is Peter Cox. It is March the 10th on a Monday, and I am being compelled by the Lord to provide an update on what I call the Cascadia Earthquake prophecy. And this is important because the title of this will be Cascadia Earthquake Prophecy Part 3. And this one is titled, The Big One is Imminent. We are so close, I can touch it. And the Lord wants me to get this out now so that as many people as possible hear this and so that they can ready their hearts in preparation for what the Lord is about to do. So I need to just initially do a quick review here of the previous components of this prophecy. So it all begins on January the 6th, the first one. And I have to tell you, I've been following the Lord for 30 years now. It's important for you to know that. And it wasn't until January the 6th of 2025 that the Lord started to give me this any prophecies whatsoever about earthquakes. So I'm not in the habit of doing this, although the Lord has been using me prophetically and training me up in the prophetic for some time now. So on January the 6th, 2025, I just want to summarize this. The Lord begins to show me this. I'm not going to describe exactly what he showed me. You can go back and find these prophecies if you want to. So the one from January the 6th is simply called Cascadia Prophecy. But here the Lord is saying, he's showing me what I would describe as the Cascadia. He mentions Cascadia at some point, so he's real clear about that. And he says, Cascadia, he's showing me how the Cascadia plate shifts. He's showing me the plates shifting, right? In this, so the primary focus of that first one on January the 6th is what I would describe as a mega earthquake event. And then it begins to allude to the Cascade volcanoes, right? So it starts to talk about volcanoes and eruptions that will be occurring with the earthquakes. So this is a big, big geological event. And then on January the 17th to the 25th, he began to show me more. He began to add to this. So we call the Cascadia Earthquake Prophecy Part 2, if you want to find that one. And this one starts, this is the first time I see or understand the word judgment. You will see that in the video. So there's a judgment component to all of this. And it introduces a rooster. It reminds me and reintroduces me to a rooster that I had seen some 30 years ago, positioned over Vancouver when I was at a meeting there. So the rooster first comes into play. So you can discover all of that and acquaint yourself with all of that part of the prophecy by seeking out Cascadia Prophecy Part 2. The important thing about this, I was talking about the volcanoes earlier, and also in that Part 2 video, the Lord is talking to me that it may be as many as 5 volcanoes. So that's really huge, including Mount Baker and Mount Rainier. So that's the background. So now he moves me to March the 4th. He begins to introduce this stuff to me again. But this time, the first thing I see in this dream, I see a rooster, but I see a white rooster. And this is speaking to me about the only thing that I can say about that is that it's talking about righteous judgment, the color white conveying righteousness and purity. So God is doing this in purity and righteousness. The next thing I see on March the 4th is a sextant, which is an instrument, as many as you would know, which is used in navigation, and you can see points on the horizon, and you can determine the direction you're going and how close you are. You can calculate the time of your to arrive at your destination, and in the right direction. Also, this speaks to me of a slice of time. If you can imagine, you're looking at the horizon, looking at 2 points on the horizon, and I see like a triangle, right? So this may be 30 degrees, 60 degrees triangle to this point here. A slice of time is the word that the Lord previously, is the phrase that the Lord previously gave me months before. A slice of time. So you can fill in that slice of time with events until you get to the ultimate destination that the Lord is after. So the sextant, very curious that he added that. The next thing I saw on March the 4th, I heard this. I heard comb, and he's referring to the rooster's comb. And so I look at the comb on this rooster, this white rooster. So obviously the red comb is very much highlighted at this point. And that's speaking to me of fullness and maturity. So the prophecy is becoming full, and it's mature, as if it's ready to happen. Then on March the 6th, so we moved to March the 6th, and this starts with a dream and waking from a dream. In the dream, I see a man by the name of David Eby. And David Eby, for those of you who would be looking at this who wouldn't know who he is the current premier of the province of British Columbia. So he's a political leader. And so I see him walking about in this dream, going about his business. Then, as I was waking, I hear in my head, capital is threatened. Then immediately thereafter, I see a large, that's exactly how I wrote it down, a large number one, the number one, superimposed over a landscape. The very next thing I see is a German shepherd sitting and waiting. Now, when I saw the large number one, it didn't occur to me exactly at that time. But as I wrote this out and looked at it, I realized what he was telling me. When I saw a large one superimposed over a landscape, it was a big one. In other words, he's referring to the big one, which is superimposed over the landscape, which is where the earthquake occurs. So he identifies this as the big one. When I see the German shepherd sitting and waiting, I understand that dogs, and maybe in particular certain types of dogs, are very tuned in and very sensitive to this type of thing, and they can actually hear, or sense the vibrations of an earthquake quite a bit before we actually could. Um, so that's like an early warning system. And when the Lord showed me that, He's telling me that the big one is imminent. There's more to this, but I'm not going to get into that now. And that's the fact that he used a German shepherd, with the emphasis being on the word shepherd. That's very important, but that's for another discussion. I had never talked about a tsunami before in all of this, although I had seen one in kind of what appeared to be an unrelated matter. I have it recorded in my journal. But as actually I was seeing the aftermath of a tsunami, this big earthquake, as expected, would produce a huge tsunami. And I've also the breadth of this, and the range of this, and the effect of this earthquake is huge. And you can see that also with the number of volcanoes that have been referenced to explode during this event. So the tsunami, I never mentioned that specifically, but I did see like the aftermath of a tsunami event. In one particular instance, that the Lord developed this particular prophecy, I saw a man hanging. He was deceased. He was hung from the top of a street lamp. So the street lamps are pretty high. And I recognized the area. This was in an area, I'm not going to mention the town, but it was, let's just say it was in Delta, British Columbia. The only way that person could get up, could be flung up on that street lamp, is from a massive tsunami. So there's going to be a massive tsunami. It's going to be very devastating. I wanted to point that out now. So, in summary, as per March 4th, March the 6th, the Lord is telling me that the big one, He's identifying it as that, so we understand what it is. The big one is imminent. The Lord also gave me the following: the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. This is from Proverbs 18:10. And this is the fear of the Lord, He tells me. The Lord is serious about these events. I must tell you this. He keeps it in front of me. So I need to release this right away, which I'm doing. Please seek Him always. Amen. Thank you for your time.